Good evening and welcome out to tonight's Tackle Trading Onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank with Tackle Trading, here to take you through the Tackle Trading website, show you around a little bit, let you know who we are, what we're about, when we're doing our shows, and all of that fun stuff to hopefully help you get to know us a little bit better. Before we kind of get down to business here this evening, though, I would be remiss to not remind you that tonight, March 28th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on this YouTube channel, Coach Tyler Craig will be doing a special webinar on iron condors, fantastic cash flow strategy. If you haven't heard of it, Tyler is one of the best at building and managing those condors. For sure, going to be a really good webinar, and I would certainly encourage you to catch it. We'll be live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here. Here just about an hour, not even an hour and a half until that kicks off. So that is the Iron Condor webinar, again tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You'll also be able to find the Trading Justice podcast each week over on tradingjustice.com. Coach Matt, Coach Tim, and Coach Mark bring the Trading Justice podcast, a really good financial podcast, a really nice addition to your weekly routine. A lot of fun, a lot of good information. You can catch that directly over at tradingjustice.com or at your favorite podcast provider as well. You can find a link to tradingjustice.com in the Trade Center. That's the page I'm on right now if you ever need it, but it is just tradingjustice.com. There's also a really nice monthly newsletter you'll find over at Trading Justice as well. That's always a really, really good read. So hopefully that can be a nice addition to your weekly or monthly routine. With all that said, let's dive right into it. I always like to break it into three parts. The things that you do on your own, courses, blogs, some of the tools that we have available, our journals, our playbook, things like that. Then things that you can do with others, basically the schedule, right? And lastly, our weekend report. So that's kind of the angle that we'll come at it here tonight as well. But really in a nutshell, I mean, what tackle trading really is, at least to my mind, it's just a group of traders that have come together to help each other out, to share ideas, share knowledge, ask and answer each other's questions, have each other's back, right? Nobody can ever make my trades for me, but I've got lots of team members here at Tackle Trading that can talk trading with me, whether it's strategy or patterns or, portfolio design, whatever it might be. There's going to be traders to talk to. And I certainly appreciate that, as someone who's been doing this a long time. I know that sometimes trading can feel pretty lonely because we're always, by ourselves, right? Or, in our home office or whatever. And it's nice to be able to connect with like-minded people. Of course, that would make for an awful short webinar. So let's talk a little bit about the things that we are doing here at Tackle Trading. Let's start with the things that you can do on your own. First thing that comes to my mind from that point of view is courses. We have a variety of courses available to all of our pro members, including the 7-step guide to trading. This is a short, I would say about a 2-hour course that will be a couple of things. One, it'll kind of introduce you to the tackle trading approach to the markets. No two traders are exactly the same, right? But I think we do share some core beliefs here at Tackle Trading, from taking that top-down approach, starting at the top of the market, working from indexes to sectors, industries, into the individual stocks. How do we choose our strategies? How do we find and analyze our trading trading opportunities? Planning, placing, managing, and journaling the trade. So in a lot of ways, it'll kind of, introduce you to the tackle trading approach to the markets. It'll also help kind of, hopefully, particularly if you're a newer trader, give you a little bit more organized in your daily routine. It's very easy, when you're new at anything, to spend a lot of time working but not getting a lot done, which can be frustrating. Should find some things that can make that day-to-day process and that routine a little bit smoother for you as well. So that is the 7-step guide to trading. Of course, as traders, we're going to be doing an awful lot of charting, right? Whether we're day traders, swing traders, cash flow traders, trading crypto, trading Forex, stocks, ETFs, whatever it might be, we are going to be doing a lot of technical analysis. And of course, as you probably can surmise, the Technical Analysis 101 course is really going to focus on just that, right? Support, resistance, trend, momentum, candlesticks, patterns, the whole 9 yards. I love technical analysis. I'm a big believer in technical analysis first, personally. And what I love so much about it is it applies to everything, right? Day traders, swing traders, whatever products we trade, we're all going to find it very, very useful. Most of us here at Tackle Trading incorporate options trading into our trading plan. The Options 101 course is really going to focus on what's going on when you buy or sell that contract. When you buy that call option, why is it moving the way it's moving, right? When you sell that put option, why does it do the things that it does, right? They're not as cut and dry as, say, a stock, in the sense that, if you buy a stock for $20 and sell it for 21, whether it's a minute from now, an hour from now, a day from now, a week from now, it's a dollar, right? Options have a lot of moving parts, right? Time decay, volatility, delta, and all of that fun stuff. So that's really what the focus of that Options 101 course. We're going to focus a tremendous amount on strategies. We'll have that over in the playbook, as we'll see here shortly. But I am a believer that if you truly understand why the contract is doing what it's doing, it's going to make any strategy easier to get comfortable with. And I 100% buy into that philosophy. If you've ever been interested in learning more about the futures or the Forex markets, I know not everybody is, and that's fine. That's what I love about trading. We can trade what we like and not trade what we don't like, right? But I never want someone to feel like they can't trade futures because it's too big for them, or whatever the case might be. So if you've ever been interested in learning more about either or both of those markets, can be a great place to start in these futures and Forex 101 courses. Regardless of what you're trading and what your time frame is, maybe you love to day trade Forex, maybe you trade crypto in the middle of the night, right? Maybe you're a swing trader, maybe you're a position trader. Whatever kind of trader you are, it's very important to have clearly designed systems and rules in place governing our actions. And I think everyone is on the same page with that. I've never talked to somebody who disagreed with that. But it's one thing to say it and to know that we need to get there. Another thing to put pen to paper, right? Get it up and running. The system development course is really designed to help train you to approach your trading from a systematic perspective. I can't recommend this course enough, regardless of what you like to trade, how long you've been trading. I would absolutely encourage everyone to take some time to go through this system development course. You'll also notice we have a handful of premium systems here at Tackle Trading in the Tackle 25, which is a covered call-based system based off of a select group of stocks that we put together each year to cash flow through covered calls. Step system. Our step system is our swing trading system, just stands for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Cash flow Condor is a cash flow system on the Russell 2000 using that iron Condor that Tyler's going to talk about a little later this evening. And the bear market survival guide, kind of protecting ourselves from bearish turns in the market and then dealing with that when we get them. All of these are standalone systems. It's a one-time purchase. The system is yours for life. Each month, we'll get together with members of each of these teams in a mastermind group. We'll talk a little bit more about that later for sure. If you're interested and want a little more information, you can always find it over in the store tab. You can send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. Be happy to get you some more information. You do not have to have the system if you want to join in on the mastermind group. We invite all of our pro members to join in on the monthly mastermind group for the Tackle 25, for the step system, for the Condors, for the bear market survival guide. So if you're, if that's something you're not interested in right now, or want to kind of get to know a little bit better or whatever else, know that you are more than welcome to join us each month in those different mastermind groups. Not everything's going to have to be a course or an hour webinar, right? We're going to do regular blog content, both in written and video form, whether it's more charting with Tales of a Technician, more options with option theory, hearing from our awesome female traders in the Women in Trading blog, working with Coach Greg Old Money Holmes over in the Rookie Corner, taking concepts kind of from the ground up. These are just additional ways to share ideas, to answer questions that maybe our team members are having throughout the week. Going to be relatively, light on the time. Might be just be a 5-minute read or a 10-minute video, but certainly additional ways that we can reach out and connect with members of our team. Over in the Trade Center, you're going to find our Tackle Trading Playbook. We're going to go ahead and head over here. This is where we're going to have all of our strategies and the rules for those strategies. We break our strategies into 3 core areas based off of the option Greeks: Delta, Theta, and Vega. Our Delta playbook is our directional playbook. I think the stock's going from 90 to 100. I think the stock's dropping from 30 to 25, right? going from point A to point B. So that would include buying and selling stock, right? But that would also include, buying call options, buying put options, doing debit spreads, doing diagonal spreads, basically movement-based strategies. Then over the theta playbook, this is our cash flow playbook. This is where we're selling those options and bringing in that premium. That'd be covered calls, that'd be naked puts, that'd be credit spreads, that'd be those iron condors and the like. And then the big or the volatility playbook. The stock I expected to move a lot in a short period of time. Maybe it's got earnings coming up, and generally maybe that stock tends to get a little crazy during earnings. Sometimes it makes a huge move up, sometimes a huge move down, but maybe it tends to move one way or the other. There's just no way that we could know which way it's going to be this time. But we'll just build a trade that profits as long as it moves a lot one way or the other, right? So such as a long straddle or strangle. So these are going to be based off of our expected, our expectations of volatility. In each of these, you're going to find a detailed video kind of going over, what the strategy is, why the strategy, our rules for the strategy, the risk, the reward profile, all of that fun stuff. There's also a little downloadable cheat sheet, so you have easy access to the rules. Hey, how much time am I buying or selling? What delta am I buying or selling, etc. You'll also notice that on all of them, we're going to have something from a 0 to a plus or a -3. And that's just kind of where we see this strategy kind of on the spectrum of 0 is, flat neutral, plus or -1 would be slightly bullish or bearish, 2 or -2 would be, bullish or bearish. And then 3 or -3 would be very bullish or very bearish. We always want to match the strategy to the situation, right? To our read of the situation. And this is just kind of where we see these strategies fitting into that matrix. So that is the Tackle Trading Playbook. You'll also find a link to our trade journals, a link to our trading glossary, and our clubhouse in here. If you go directly into the Trade Center, this will bring you to a What's Up at Tackle Trading page. So this is kind of where we started tonight. Hey, what's our next show? Our most recent posts and blogs, right? Our most recent tweet, little watch list that you can build for yourself if you would like to do so. Replay of one of our YouTube shows, where you are in any of the courses that you're taking, so you can pick right back up. Little mini calendar of what does the immediate future look like. So it's really kind of a What's Up at Tackle Trading page. When you first come into it, you'll find that link to Trading Justice in here as well. You're also going to find a variety of trading tools in here, including the Market Skyline. This is just going to be all of the big stuff in one place. So, we're big on the top-down analysis. So every day we're going to be looking at the major indexes, right? The S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the Russell. As you can kind of see here, these are the futures contracts for that. Bitcoin, the VIX, the emerging market, and the all-world ETF, the major commodities, gold, silver, copper, crude, etc., the sector spider ETFs. So we can kind of see what sectors are doing, which ones are standing out, one way or another. All an important part of a daily routine, in my opinion. It doesn't have to be on this page by any means, but if you're not doing that in your daily routine, I would encourage you to incorporate it. I think you'll find it can be very, very helpful. We just wanted to have a place where all of this made stuff was on one easy to access page. There's also a link to the FinViz heat maps in here. This will just bring you to finviz.com and the heat map for the S&P 500 for the day. Just a different look at the market, right? We can see, what areas were green. Most things were in the green today. Some things very much so. Not a great day for energy, right? Never would try to build a trade off of this, personally at least, but I can use it to generate some ideas, see if an area is standing out one way or the other. And while the default is set to a one-day performance, it is a little customizable. You can look at weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, fundamental ratios, how it performed on earnings. So a little bit of customization in there on that FinViz heat map, and that's just this one right here. You'll find a link to a news aggregator. This is going to go through some of the big financial websites, Wall Street Journal, The Times, MarketWatch. Imagine if we scroll a little further, we'll run into MarketWatch. I think I've said MarketWatch, CNBC. MarketWatch is going to be down here somewhere as well. Usually those are the big four. Just getting all the headlines in one place so I can easily kind of scroll through and read stories that I find interesting, right? I could read all of these stories wherever. This is just a fast, easier way designed to save some clicks and bouncing back and forth. Because if I'm not interested in this story, then what's the point, right? So, and maybe you are, right? But just kind of to make the process a little bit smoother for ourselves. The economic calendar, so we can make sure we know what's on the docket for the day or for the week that could impact our trading. Another link to our market reports, which you can find on this drop down. We'll talk in more detail shortly. A link to our compounding gains calculator, a chart if you ever need one, the glossary, the search tool. The search tool is also this little magnifying glass. And as we saw earlier, you can catch the glossary on the drop down as well. If you come into the trade journals through the Trade Center, like I'm about to do right now, it will bring you directly to the tutorial video. You can get them directly on the drop down, but if you come into this page through the trade journals, you can easily catch the tutorial. If you need some help with it, you may or may not, but never a bad thing to have that. You can download them on this page as well. We do have 3 different journals. We have the trade journal, which is basically probably exactly kind of what you're expecting. What did I do? When did I do it? What did I pay? And how much of it did I trade, right? I bought 2 calls. I traded 47 shares, whatever it might be. It's going to do the rest of the work for us. It's going to track, our profit loss, how long we were in the trade, how long on average we're in trades, what our average winning trade makes us, how much our average losing trades cost us. Really important information. Every trade that we make is data if we allow it to be, right? And if we have that journaled, then that's not going to be a huge deal to go through that data and make targeted changes based off of what we individually are experiencing. You also find the theta research tool. This is where you can build and compare different cash flow strategies. Say you've got 6 candidates for some credit spreads today, but you only want to do 2 of them. Well, how do you choose which 2, right? Well, do you just flip coins? Do you just say which one gives me the biggest credit? Well, I think we want to compare them fairly against one another, and that's exactly what that theta research tool is going to allow you to do. And then, of course, the portfolio journal, just to help you stay organized. Where exactly are you? The overall account. So on any of these, if you come into it the way we did, just select the journal that you want. You can get that downloaded in here. Again, you can also catch them on the drop down there as well. I always prefer to come in this way because I think the tutorial can be really helpful for some of us. So that is going to be the Trade Center. On Fridays, or the end of the week, usually, which is a Friday, right? Minus a couple weird holidays throughout the year. We're going to deliver the Huddle podcast. You can catch it directly there at that button there at the top. Just going to go over in a quick and easy manner the top 10 stories of the week, what was going on in the market. Try to keep it as straightforward and unbiased as possible, just to make sure that you are aware of the week that was in the market. Just like the Trading Justice podcast, you can catch that on all of your favorite podcast providers, but you can listen to it directly via this link as well. So that's going to kind of wrap up that first phase of things that you can kind of do on your own. And now we'll kind of move into the schedule and talk a little bit about things that you can do with others, starting with, every market morning. Every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we get together with the team in our traders lounge for an hour. It's just a bunch of traders that get together where we can, bounce ideas around, answer people's questions, help our team out in whatever way they might need us to do so. So if maybe you've got a trade setup that you just want to share and get some feedback on, well, I know traders want to see it. So, and we can, bounce ideas there. Maybe you've got a trade going and want to kind of talk about, some management options. Maybe you're struggling with a particular option strategy. You just can't wrap your head around that, bull call spread. And it would just be really helpful to go through it from beginning to end with somebody who's really, really comfortable with it. Maybe you're struggling with your daily routine, or who knows, right? There's always a point where every single one of us needs some help. And that's really what our lounge is designed to do. So our team can get direct contact with us live and in person every market morning, and we can give everybody the help that they might need, whatever that might mean, right? You might just sit in there and listen too. I listen in a lot, and I find lots of good trade setups in there personally. So that's every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. We're not going to regularly record the lounge, but we are going to sometimes record some snippets on it, and we'll get them posted in here directly on this page as well. Shortly after the Traders Lounge, we head over to our YouTube channel at 12:30 Eastern for the Tackle Trading Halftime Report, live looking at the market. where we're working through that, daily routine, that top-down analysis, right? What's going on in the market today? How is it impacting the charts on the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, the major commodities, sectors, stocks in the news, the whole 9 yards, and staying on top of the market. That's live right here on this YouTube channel each market day at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. So we're going to be here, each day working the markets with members of our team. Then we're going to have our evening slate of shows as well. On Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do the coaches show. I would say personally that this is the flagship show of tackle trading. A couple of the coaches are going to get together and we're going to talk trading, right? There's so many things that we can talk about as traders, right? We could talk about particular indicators, right? How do I use the 9 EMA, right? Or why do I use the RSI or whatever it might be? We can talk about strategies, right? Why I love bull call, and bear put debit spreads and my rules for them. Patterns, right? Why, how do we trade high bases? How do we trade, flag patterns? How do we trade bearish breakdowns? Right? There's so many things, right, that we can talk about as traders. Coaches Show allows us to narrow that down to one thing and have an in-depth conversation on it every Tuesday night. It's very informative, always a lot of fun to listen or be a part of it on my end for sure. That will be recorded in archive. So if you can't make the Coaches Show live on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, you can always catch it at a more convenient time. You can always go back. It's very easy to find in the archives on that link. If there's a subject matter that interests you, that you want to, revisit from 6 weeks ago or whatever, very easy to do as well. On Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our cash flow club. This one's going to be a little more narrowly focused, as the name probably gives away, on building and managing those cash flow strategies. So credit spreads, condors, naked puts, covered calls, right? Building and managing those trades. We're big fans of cash flow trading here at Tackle Trading for sure. So it makes sense that we're going to spend a lot of time, and we have a show specifically dedicated to those types of strategies. Just like the Coaches Show, it will be recorded and archived. If you can't make it live, or if you need to watch it a second time, or want to watch a previous episode on something that you are working on or find interesting, very easy to do in the archives directly at that link. On Wednesday night, we do a twofer here. I'm going to hop over to the events calendar really quick. Right here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, on Wednesday night, we do our Trade Masters webinar. A couple of the coaches will get together with 3 different trade ideas: a Delta trade idea, a Theta trade idea, and a wild card trade idea. Bounce them off of one another, and members of our team live in the chat. Our team will vote on each round on whose idea they liked the best. And at the end, someone is declared the trade master. It's a lot of fun. I mean, what it's really designed to do is help us kind of beef up that midweek watch list, right? There's never a bad way to find a trade idea. I'm sure you won't like all of them, but that's, to me, that's never what it's about. It's not about the ones I don't like. It's about the ones that I do like. It's a lot of fun to be able to share ideas and bounce them around with other coaches and members of our team each Wednesday night right here on this YouTube channel at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then shortly after that is over, we're going to head back over here to Tackle Trading for our Wednesday night Traders Lounge at 8:30 Eastern. It's going to be very similar to our morning trading lounge, right? Where we can just, answer questions that our team members are having. Maybe you are never available at 11 a.m. Eastern during the week. Maybe you're at work, for example, but you have a question or want to have a discussion on something. Hopefully you'll be able to join us in that Wednesday night lounge. The one place it is going to differ a little bit is we're just coming out of the Trade Masters webinar. So if members of our team have any questions or want to take a deeper dive into any of the things that we discussed in that webinar, of course, we're going to be more than happy to do that as well. So on Wednesday night, 7 Eastern here on the YouTube channel for the Trade Masters webinar, 8:30 p.m. Eastern back over on Tackle Trading for that Wednesday night lounge. On Mondays, it's a little wild card on Mondays, but kind of as a general rule, on Mondays, we're going to be meeting up with, that's typically when we're going to be doing our mastermind groups for, the Condors or the Tackle 25 or the step system. Coach Matt's doing the step system right now as we speak, or for our team members at Tackle Trading. So typically we're going to be meeting up with those mastermind groups on Mondays here at Tackle Trading. As I mentioned earlier, as a pro member, whether you have or don't have the system, you are always welcome to join us and come in and learn and listen and ask questions. Of course, you are. We also tend to do about every other week a special webinar, such as the webinar on Iron Condor, as Coach Tyler's doing here in about an hour on our YouTube channel. So, in addition to that, I'm also going to be doing this onboarding webinar for anybody who's new to tackle trading, just to kind of work through what we're working through right now. All right. So Mondays are a little bit different, but you can generally expect that either or a mastermind group or a YouTube webinar, and in a lot of cases, both will be going on here on Monday nights. In a way, I think I kind of break it down into the lounge in the morning is really for our team. Whatever they need, that's what it's about that day, right? Whatever that might mean. It's really about our team's questions and what they need from us. The halftime report is really all about that daily routine, staying on top of things, right? And then the evening shows is really about taking a deeper dive into all of these concepts and putting on that teacher's hat a little bit more. And while that is oversimplifying it, I would say a little bit, because there's always going to be a little bit of crossover, right? That might be a way to kind of help keep it organized as you get to know us. As you can kind of see here in this events calendar, if a show's about ready to go, or if I want to get the link, or if I want to see what the week's looking like, I'm not quite so comfortable with the schedule yet. Very easy to do right here on this event calendar page. So hopefully that gets you a little more comfortable with the schedule and the routine, which are going to lead us to that third area, and that is the weekend reports. Now, on Fridays, me and the other coaches are always getting together and prepping for next week, right? And what we refer to as our scouting report meeting. We're going to talk markets, we're going to talk sectors, commodities, trade setups, industries, the whole 9 yards. And out of that scouting report meeting comes our newsletter, our stock option and commodities report that we get delivered to our team members by Saturday afternoon. The Tackle newsletter is a big part of what we're doing each and every week. The newsletter is going to be a look ahead to the upcoming week in the market. So we're going to kind of start with the week that was, right? What was the week? What was going on this past week in the market, right? What happened? Why does it look like it happened? What was the mood of the market? Sector talk, all of that fun stuff. Look ahead to the economic calendar. Of course, we're going to have a video going through all of this stuff for you in here. Where is the broad market? Be it the S&P, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the Russell, taking a look at the internals of the market, going to be looking over 8,000 stocks to kind of see the relative strength or weakness as we kind of look under the hood a little bit, if you will. We're also going to be ranking the sectors each week based off of a couple of things. Now, if you're familiar with the sector spiders, you can kind of see that that's kind of what we're doing here. If you're not, let's take just a second and talk a little bit about them. The sector spiders are ETFs. The website provider, or the website for the ETF provider, is just sectorspdr.com. If you want to get more information, on these ETFs and how they're built. But basically, what they're going to do is they're going to go into the S&P 500 and pull out stocks just by sector. So XLK, for example, is the technology sector ETF. XLU is the utility sector ETF. XLE is the energy sector ETF, right? It's going to go into the S&P 500 and pull out just the stocks in these sectors. Because it's built off of the S&P 500, it's going to be weighted just like the S&P 500 is. You can find more information about that over at the website for the ETF provider if you would like to do so. But these are really handy little things to have to kind of see, what happened in the world of sectors today, right? Very, very helpful things. As ETFs, they're also tradable. These ETFs are optionable as well. So a lot of things that we can do with them if we choose to do so. Now, we're going to be doing our rankings not specifically based off of XLE, but based off of the stocks that make up XLE, the companies that actually are in that ETF. But here on our scoreboard, we're going to have our sectors broken into the three core groups. The growth sectors, that's technology, discretionary, and communications, repped in blue. The financials, industrials, basic materials, and energy sectors are cyclical sectors, represented here in gold. And then our defensive sectors, healthcare, staples, real estate, and utilities, in this purplish plum type of color, right? And each week, based off of what we're seeing on the companies within these sectors, we're going to be upgrading or downgrading accordingly, right? And we're going to kind of talk you through that process in the video portion of it, of course. But it's just a very important part of how we're building, our trading plans each and every week. You'll notice we put it on a football field between the 40s is, neutral territory. We're not really strong, opinion one way or the other. Between the 40 and the 20, we're in the slightly bullish or slightly bearish camp. Between the 20 and the goal line and the bullish or bearish camp. And then it's really going to be unlikely and super rare that you're going to ever see us put an entire sector or market into plus or minus 3 territory. That's just not who we are. We're not that aggressive by any stretch of the imagination. You never say never, but I can say it's very, very unlikely and certainly going to be very rare that something gets put into that aggressive of territory. We'll talk about, why we upgraded or downgraded or didn't do anything in the video portion of the newsletter as well. Of course, as we saw earlier, just the sector spider ETFs, if you need the symbols to, incorporate into your daily routine, they're right in there. At the end of our meeting, we do our rapid fire segment where each of the coaches will share their favorite bullish and bearish setup from our stock and options report and kind of let the team quickly know what they like about those setups. A fun way to end the meeting. It's just a nice little way to end a long meeting, talking trading. Always a lot of fun. You'll find a reminder, is the case in here, of Coach Tyler's YouTube webinar. You'll find a link to our Discord. We invite all of our pro members to join us on our Discord channel. It's a great place to engage and interact with other traders, share ideas, bounce around. It's really a fantastic program. You can get to that information here. If you struggle with it, just send us an email, team@tackletrading.com. We can help you out for sure. But you'll always find the information to get joined up here in the newsletter. A friendly little reminder to match the strategy to the situation, right? Never hurts to have a friendly reminder. You'll find a pre-built scanner. So if a particular area has caught your attention for whatever reason, maybe you really like healthcare and want to do a quick, see if you can find some trades in that area, this will bring you back to FinViz. This is going to bring you to a list of what I refer to as trader-friendly stocks. And what I mean when I say that is they're very liquid and they're borrowable. So it's going to be very easy to trade a stock trade on these things, right? Liquidity is not a problem, and being borrowable, I can go short if I need to do so. Each one of them also is optionable. Now, if you've traded options before, you know that just because a stock has options doesn't mean a stock has liquid options, right? So we are going to have to double check on that. And if you don't know how to do that, you'll learn about that in that Options 101 course. I would say as a whole, they are pretty friendly for option traders, but I would also say in every single one of them, there's some stocks that I would personally never trade options on, would only trade equity personally. But I guess one way or another, be it through, stock or through options, if I find something in here I like, I'm going to be able to find a way to trade it. It's not going to be a concern at all. So that's what I mean when I say trader friendly. And as you can kind of see, just gives us this kind of bird's eye top down approach to some charts, right? And see, if anything kind of stands out. Maybe you like this little pullback that you saw on Pfizer. Maybe you like the fact that UNH is breaking its all-time high. Maybe you like this little snapback that we saw here on TMO into some of these moving averages, right? Maybe, right? Maybe you like this bottoming on MDT that's got a pretty clear top. It looks like about 110. I wouldn't try to make a trade-off of any of these things, but what I can do is I can jot the ones that catch my eye down, go look at them in an actual trading platform. And just like that, I probably found a couple of stocks for my watch list. It's a very, very handy little thing to have to go through a lot of things very, very quickly. And of course, we'll have that built for any of the sectors. So if they caught your eye for whatever reason and you want to, beef that watch list up a little bit, very easy to do. Just a quick world watch, where's the all world ETF, the emerging market ETF, the dollar index, and then the final thoughts by Coach Gino, who does such an awesome job each week putting this newsletter together for us. So that is going to be the Tackle newsletter. Coach Mark does our commodity report for us, does a great job keeping the team updated on what's going on, both, fundamentally and technically in the world of commodities, gold, silver, copper, crude, right? All of that fun stuff. Any themes that are going on over in those areas, even if you're not trading commodities in the futures exchange, where a lot of people do trade, gold contracts or crude contracts or what have you, there's a lot of things that we can do through the equity market, whether it's, ETFs, like say GLD or GDX, if we're trying to trade gold, whether it's stocks that tend to act as proxies like Southern Copper or FCX that kind of can act as a proxy for copper. Coach Mark always does a great job highlighting what's going on in that area, sharing ideas of ways that we could approach that with members of our team. The stock and option report are going to be built fairly similar to one another. Each week, we want to make sure our team has some quality technical setups, whether they're trading stock options or both, right? So we're going to kind of start there. We're always going to make sure that we have some quality technical candidates, both on the bullish and the bearish side. So bullish breakouts, bullish retracements, flags, reversals, high bases, right? All of that type of stuff. We want to make sure that we're big watch list traders here at Tackle Trading. We want to have a quality watch list to work off of each and every week. That's true whether we're talking stock report or option report. These are kind of from a swing trading perspective. That's how we are building them up. Where they're going to differ is kind of in the discussion, right? In the stock report, these stocks are cheap and no real need to trade options. Maybe it's a great setup, but the options are just not very liquid. While the stock's perfectly fine, the options just aren't for whatever reason. So the only way we'd feel comfortable playing is with stock. In the options report, well, hey, we're comfortable trading options on all of these things. Every single coach. If any one coach says they're not, then it wouldn't be in the option report. And if any one coach says it's not, then probably all of them would say that it's not, to be honest with you. So everything in the option report, we are comfortable, with from an options point of view. The discussion is going to differ too, right? In the option report, while the technicals are every bit as important, we're going to spend more time talking options, right? Talking strategy selection. Coach Tyler did a dive into the VIX this past week. So we're going to be, the conversation can be a little different. The stock reports can be a little bit more about process and pattern and things like that because, well, it's a stock trade, right? We don't have to debate, are we buying or selling? Are we looking to do a credit spread or a debit spread? Would this be a good situation for a diagonal type of conversations that we will need to have in the options report? If you're in here, just a couple of quick things. You've noticed probably that we build in these trading view charts into a lot of the different pages here at Tackle Trading, including our stock and the options report. Just a couple of quick things to hopefully make your life a little easier on it. If you smack the widget button here, it's just going to hide the watch list. Hit it again, it'll bring it back so you can get a little bit more room on your chart. You can add an indicator or two if you'd like to do so. Do be aware that those are not going to save. So before you add, a whole bunch of indicators and then leave the page and come back, just be aware they're not going to come back with you. It's of course defaulted to a daily chart and the candlesticks, but if you prefer bar charts, you can easily change to bar. If you want to go intraday for maybe a stop loss or maybe for an entry, you can easily do that. If you want to take a longer term view, you can of course do that as well. So you can definitely kind of play with the time frame as well. Your trend line tool is going to be right up in here, so where you can either draw horizontal levels of support or resistance if applicable, actual trend lines if applicable. Very easy to use. If you don't need it, just hit the line you just drew, hit the trash can, and it'll go away for you. Easy to get rid of. You'll also find a longer short tool in here. So if I say I wanted to play AEE here, and I'm not going to get super specific, but I'm just going to say I want to come in, a little bit above today's high by whatever my rules are. And I'll just say for argument's sake, ease and convenience, it's 92.11 because that's where my mouse was. So it's going to immediately let me know what my 1-to-1 risk to reward would be. So based off of this exact trade, if I put a stop loss at 90.06 and had a target of 94.16 and got in there at that 91.12 that I had, then that would be a 1-to-1 ratio. That's not super useful to us, right? But what it's going to allow us to do is say, okay, well, I've got a target in mind of, $98, right? We'll just go with that. I would like to put my stop loss below Friday's low. Just go with that. And that's going to let me know what that trade looks like. Every dollar I'm risking, I have $2.29 in potential profit. Got that 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio that most of us swing traders are looking for. Maybe you feel, you know what, I think you're being too aggressive. I want to target it to 96. You can see, well, that's going to be $1.53 for every dollar that you're risking. Not the greatest risk to reward ratio, but maybe you say, well, I'm going to, pull my stop loss up to, 2-to-1, right? And, or maybe I'm going to go intraday, or whatever the case might be. Going to save you some time on the math, if nothing else. Also help you visualize the trade a little bit. Very handy little tool. There's going to be that for both the long and the short if you are prepping a bearish trade. You can, of course, also wiggle the chart around, zoom up or down in the body of the chart, and it'll do what I'm doing here, scrunching it up or scrunching it down. If you hold your left mouse button down, you can move the chart as you need to in here. Same thing, if you hold your left mouse button down over in the dollars, you can scrunch up or scrunch down, so you can kind of get it sized, I guess, the way that's appealing to your eye, right? So a couple of things that you can do in there. Again, the stock option, commodity report, all of these things are designed to make sure our team has good quality watch list to work out of each week. We'll make sure we get these to you by Saturday afternoon. For most of us, there's no wrong way to use the reports. For most of us, we kind of go through the reports. I've got the setups that I like. I'm probably not going to trade all of them, right? I've got the areas, I like that setup, or, I'm pretty light in this sector. I'd like to add a few things in my watch list from this sector. I don't need another energy stock, but maybe I would like to have a few tech stocks in my watch list, right? There's not a wrong way to use it by any means, but there's never a bad way to find a good quality trade idea, right? And so, like I said earlier, it's never about what you don't like. It's about what you do like and want to add to your watch list. So that is going to be those weekend reports. As we get wrapping up here this evening, we do have a daily email, the Tackle Today email. If you would like to sign up for that, just click Tackle Today. You can easily sign up for it here. You can also read the daily email on this page. It is going to get delivered to your inbox faster, but if for whatever reason you just prefer to read it here, that is, of course, an option as well. We are active on all of the different social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So if you're using those platforms, certainly invite you to join us on our YouTube channel. In addition to our live shows, our every day we're doing the halftime report, right? Every other Monday we're doing a special webinar. Every Wednesday we're doing the Trade Masters webinar. So we have a lot of live content on our YouTube channel for sure. We also have a lot of how-tos, walkthroughs, Thinkorswim tutorials, and all sorts of other stuff on our YouTube channel as well. Would certainly appreciate a subscribe and hit that notification bell. It certainly helps us with the YouTube algorithm, and hopefully it helps you kind of stay on top of anything that we're doing over here on this YouTube channel. I always tell people as we get ramping up that in a lot of ways we build our own tackle trading. A brand new trader probably is going to use tackle trading a little different than me, right? Someone who's brand new to the market, just got into this 6 weeks ago, they probably need to spend more time on processes, right? They probably would get a lot out of the 7-step guide to trading, get a lot out of technical analysis 101, get a lot out of understanding why those options are moving the way they're doing, right? They might not be comfortable trading options, so they might be more focused on, trade setups from the stock report than the options report, right? Somebody who's been around for a long time, is really pretty much a cash flow trader and doesn't like to do a lot of directional stuff, they're probably naturally going to gravitate towards the Cash Flow Condors Mastermind Group, the Cash Flow Club, the Tackle 25, the options report, right? There's not a wrong way to use tackle trading. We're going to keep our team really busy. We're going to do a lot of content every single week. We don't expect you to go through all of it. We invite you and welcome you to, of course, but don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading based off of where you are and what you like to trade. There's no shame at all in that side of things. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure walking you through the site this evening. I hope it helped you get to know us a little bit better, both kind of as who we are and what it is that we're actually doing for our pro members. If you are a new pro member, I welcome you to the team, and I look very much forward to getting to know you as the days go by. If you're not a pro member, appreciate your time this evening as well. And we, of course, always offer a standing offer of a 15-day trial. You can come in, see what we're doing on the back end, see if it's a good fit. If it is, great, found a good home. If it's not, well, hopefully you learned a little bit while you were here. So we'll have that in the description of all of our YouTube videos. You can also find it over in the store tab as well if you would like to give that free 15-day trial a shot. But ladies and gentlemen, I will let you get out of here today. Do keep in mind here in just over half an hour, Coach Tyler will be talking iron condors. If you are unfamiliar, if you like cash flow, or if you like options, I would definitely bookmark that thing, join him, catch it later, whatever the schedule is going to allow you to do. But that's going to be a really great webinar. I have no doubt coming up here very, very soon. So get out of here. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Enjoy the Iron Condor webinar. And I will look to see you all again somewhere down the road, hopefully not too far down the road.